A couple years ago, before DC Comics mercilessly rebooted their universe again and again, there was a special time where so many generations of superheroes were able to go ahead and acknowledge each other and spend so much time with one another. There were so many generations of characters accessible across DC's various titles. Thankfully, I think one such comic that has done an excellent job bringing back the spirit of the old DC universe is the publisher's current Flash run, which features so many excellent Flash characters across several generations of DC Comics. My name is Arco Braddock, and today we're going to go ahead and review the Flash 790 to see how the franchise's 1-minute war will actually connect the entire Flash family. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel if you like our video, and why not go ahead and hit that like button as well. Next up, I want to go ahead and read off the solicitation text over from DC Comics to introduce a little bit more about the villainous forces behind the 1-minute war. As any speedster worth their salt will tell you, time can move pretty slow for the incredibly fast. So what happens when an armada of conquering speedster aliens show up on Earth's doorstep? The most intense battle the Earth has ever waged in the span of 60 seconds begins. And I want to go ahead and read off the excellent creative team behind the Flash 790. This issue is written by Jeremy Adams. We have art from Roger Cruz. We have inks from Matt Banning and Wellington Diaz. Colors from Luis Guerrero, letters from Rob Leigh, and a gorgeous cover over from Taurin Clarke that I'm actually going to go ahead and show off in just a moment here. Here's a look at the beautiful cover over from Taurin Clarke introducing Flash's 1-minute war. I love how the concept of the 1-minute war is explored as we get kind of like an airship in the background, as well as kind of the idea of connecting multiple Flash generations together with a look at Jay, Impulse, and I believe that's Wally over on the cover. And I want to just give big thanks over to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting these previews so incredibly fast. And I want to show off some of the interior art over from Roger Cruz. Now, if you're taking a look at this issue with me up on the screen, you'll notice that Roger Cruz's art is very animated. It's very expressive. We have very angular lines. And this is a little bit of a trade-off because I think Roger Cruz is able to emote so much on the comic book page here. I love how we get this little kind of domestic look at the West family, and we get to see, Iris, Jai, and Linda. And I think Roger Cruz is able to get so much emotion out of these individual characters, but I wish kind of the characters were depicted more precisely at times, and there was less of a sort of angular style. Overall, though, I think that Roger Cruz is such a great pick to illustrate this issue of The Flash because there are so many different characters, throughout this title. And I think Cruz is great at getting a lot of characters on the page and getting them kind of like in a more relaxed setting that calls upon, I think, decades past of The Flash when DC used to publish more comics with this same tone. And to be honest, I think actually tone is one of my favorite things about this current Flash run from Jeremy Adams and artists like Roger Cruz is because I recently had the chance to go back and read some of Mark Waid's work with wallywest, and I found that kind of the tone and so many elements sort of carry over into this modern Flash run on the series, and has actually made me an even deeper fan of this Flash run than I would ever have thought possible. Over from the writing perspective, there's so many kind of great moments here. Essentially, this villainous group of characters known as the Fraction wager their war on the DC universe, and they kind of start speedster by speedster over in the Flash family. So what I'm hoping is that kind of this villainous threat, this villainous kind of third party will end up uniting like several generations of the Flash franchise. I love how deep this issue goes in bringing back so many characters that we've really been kind of waiting to see over in, the new 52 or previous Flash runs. We finally get characters like Max Mercury here, we get Jesse Quick, and there's so many other interesting characters kind of throughout this series. If you've been following the previous issues of the Flash run, you'll probably even get more enjoyment out of this individual issue because there's several kind of tie-ins and characters from previous issues of the series that are back. However, if you are just a big fan of DC Comics in general, this is probably a great entry point into kind of the Flash franchise, because in addition to getting kind of depictions of Wally West and his home life, you can also see other characters across the DC universe that they're starting to spotlight a little bit more, like the aforementioned Max Mercury and Jesse Quick characters. So overall, I love this issue, but I do have to say there was one massive misstep in the title, and that was kind of the final page with Barry and Iris. There was just a very strange kind of status quo, a very sizable shakeup here. And we've seen so many issues with Barry and Iris trying to work out their relationship that it's hard to make this particular issue really stand out. So I hope that this kind of end result of the cliffhanger is reversed, or maybe adds a little bit more stakes to the 1 minute war. And I hope that writer Jeremy Adams will kind of veer away from some of the shock factor, because I think it detracts from all of the greatness that he's doing in the issue to get something sort of melodramatic that you wouldn't expect in a title, focused around the domestic family and the Flash across several generations of characters. But overall here, I had a great time with the Flash 790, and I think if the other titles in kind of the 1 minute war continue to this same standard of quality, we're in for something really special over in the Flash series. So I want to know from you, did you enjoy the Flash's 1 minute war debut as much as I did? What are your thoughts on several generations of speedsters across the DC universe teaming up together? And what do you want me to go ahead and cover next? Thanks so much for checking out the video, and we'll be back very soon for more excellent comic book content. We'll see you soon. Bye.